What's up YouTube, COD4Man221 here, and welcome back to another Company of Heroes 2 online replay. We are playing with Nick, who's the US, and I am got another Soviet gameplay here for you. I've been playing a lot of the Soviets lately. Like the Soviets are just kind of, like, I'm kind of getting back into them. You know, I have certain periods where I just like to play a lot with one faction. I was playing a lot of the US, trying to like really figure out their strengths and weaknesses. Now I'm playing as the Soviets again after we've had a lot of things, really encountering the OKW and other factions. You know, we're on road to Krakow, which is it's kind of controversial map. It's basically this map is kind of hard because it's really kind of should be a three-player map. I don't know if you disagree with me or not. If you think about it, you could have one player go for the center, and then one on this left side, and then one on this right side. So basically, I was talking to Nick, so I'm going to capture this left side here. Hold it. I'm going to box off the middle with some barbed wire, and Nick's going to take the right side. So if we hold both sides in our own field, we should be okay. I'm grabbing some conscripts out early. You can see Nick has 2 rifleman squads out, and we're going to try to take over some of these points here and capture some territory to get ready. I've also built the support company, which will give us, will at least give me Maxims, mortars, and ATs. Which ended up being a great decision later on. So you can see Nick's rear echelon are just getting shredded by these storm pioneers. So the riflemen have come in. I would not necessarily suggest closing range with these guys because they are quite deadly at close range. But if you have enough riflemen, I guess you'll be able to win that engagement. So I'm pushing in. I've had no resistance. Usually someone tries to set the victory point here, but they're pushing hardcore in the middle. Our enemies are going to set up their defenses really along this point right here, including some mortars coming up later. So I'm in heavy cover to capture this point. And Nick is dealing with 2-on-1 right here. I can kind of see that, so I'm going to have to rush some support over there when I can. They really like to double Nick. It seems like in most of our games we just lost a squad that's bad. It seems like in most of our games, Nick gets doubled, and I try to help him out. They seem to like want to double him and not me. See, I have some cool doctrines here. Urban defense, I have Soviet shock army, and armored assault tactics. So Nick's been kind of pushed back here. I'm capturing more territory. Have an MG set up. I'm trying to really secure this flank for us.
We are now able to intercept and decode German radio
You can see they're building sandbags here. Would have been a little hard for me early on. Now I'm going to try to help out Nick by pushing up with some forces here through the gap. This one on the other side of his MG. That was coming through the center. And I've gone with the special assault, armored assault tactics. So I'm chasing him. And these guys right here, you know, gonna get shredded, so I gotta pull back. At this point I realized, you know, I might as well just fall back. That was an okay assault. I killed 1 machine gunner. And I lost 2, you know, common engineers. Well, you can see these guys like through the trees. Man, this flak emplacement. Anyway, I'm grabbing a second MG. I want to help out. I'm going to really try to hold my front line here. I see these grenadiers. Now, same cost per unit. I do have 6 guys. I am in light cover, and they are in negative cover on the road. Now, you think I'd win this hands down. And I am, because I'm in the cover right now. But they're killing a lot of my men. Surprisingly, they're not taking that much damage. Then he's going to push up to his own cover, and at this point, I thought my guys had this. So I'm shifting around to make sure we are in the light cover here. Now it's 3-on-3. Shifting this MG, who's just barely in range of these guys, and he's going to start shooting at them. And he's going to want to fall back at this point. And look, I mean, it really amazes me how bad these conscripts can be. Like, they were in cover most of that time. You know, I'm going to set up a second MG right here. He was actually coming up this way to possibly enter a house. And I see those guys right there. And they're charging forward. Luckily, I can set my Maxim very quickly because it's very maneuverable. And we are in cover. And I'm like, great, if my conscripts didn't do so well against the Grenadiers, how are they going to do against the Storm Pioneers? And Nick's coming out to help me out. So they've fortified this area. They have a really strong presence around the center here. And this guy's going to lose his Storm Pioneer squad. He must not be paying attention. So I brought an AT out. This is a little controversial, getting this out this early. It's about 5 minutes. They really probably don't have any armor. But at that moment, they're making a flat cap track, which I didn't exactly know, but I figured it was a good idea. So these guys are now reinforced. I'm going to bring them back to the front lines. I have some engineers coming back here. Next guys are down to 2 men. You really need to get them reinforced with some kind of ambulance. It's interesting. Nick has a lieutenant and a captain out. No, I'm just kidding. He's just a lieutenant. So he's a light machine gun. I'm not liking that. I'm bringing out my Maxim to help support. I'm even going to move this Maxim in. So they're going to fall back, find some cover here. The rifle grenades of these guys are quite deadly. Especially against these guys, support weapons like MGs. So you can see they're kind of setting up position right here. They do have an officer out, and they have a mortar which is going to start returning fire back on me. Said about the German mortar's accuracies. Like, these guys are pretty accurate, surprisingly. He's going to do a barrage.
What do you need?
So I have barbed wired this off to help protect our center here, and I barbed wired here, and I put down some mines. So I figured, you know, if they're not paying attention, they just click a move order right here. The men will be forced to go over my mines. That's a pretty obvious mine setup right there, but I'm hoping he thinks I maybe forgot to put the rest of my barbed wire there. So Nick is pushing in right here. And I have 10 men against these guys, so I'm even charging forward. And I'm going to shift around and try to kill this mortar right here. Now, this is when the retreat function is going to come in a minute here. I cannot see any of that, obviously. So I see this. I'm in a bad situation right here. So I'm going to retreat all my forces. And they're going to, instead of going around this way safely, they're going to go straight through the enemies, and I'm going to lose both squads here. So I just lost 2 squads due to that. That was a little... They chose a really poor path to retreat, so you got to be careful with your infantry like that. I did distract these guys long enough for Nick to push in, though. He forced these guys back. He's going to surround this MG right here. They do have a flat cap track coming out. Thankfully, Nick does have a captain. The bazooka took out one of those crewmen. And there you go. That machine gun should die. There you go. These guys push up. He's going to try to keep that at distance because the mortar's already wreaking some havoc. And he looks like he has... Looks he's inspired to fight harder because of the officer. So Nick is pulling back here. He's done with the rifleman company after all, the commander here. And I'm moving up with my MGs and my AT. Now, at some point I'm going to realize making assaults against the front of these positions is not good. Destroying this wall right here, and I even have my own mortar out, trying to deal some death to these guys. I'm shifting a second MG over as they're flanking me. These guys are in trouble. I'm just going to have to fall back with this unit here. And grenade comes and they just got stuck for some reason. Anyway, Nick has a Stewart coming out. He's gonna fall back because, yeah, Panzerfaust. And I shipped another. Look at this. This gun's about to be destroyed here. And I just lost my gun. And the thing about 2 mortars are, they're going to start focusing fire right on this position here, and I'm in trouble. So I've lost 2 conscript squads very recently, and I just lost 2 MGs in my AT. I am hurting very badly. All I have at the front lines are these conscripts in my mortar, and you know I have to get another MG now. I'm building a we call this battalion command. I'm falling back with my mortar. It's almost VAT 1. I think it's too valuable to possibly lose. I have to fall out completely on this side. Thankfully, Nick has taken over this side and is getting rid of their fuel, which is good. They have a Puma out. So, just a suggestion to you guys. Don't get discouraged when you've lost a lot of your forces. Keep fighting. I mean, there's no, like, I've seen people rage quit at this point. Just because I've lost a lot of my men does not mean it's over. I mean, I'm going to get T-34, hopefully. And I have more troops coming out, so... I was thinking I could get a T-70, but I'm like, I'm just going to save up the extra minute for a T-34. I can't deal with any kind of light vehicles, pretty much. That Puma is sniping, and look, Nick just kind of ambushed him. I don't think Nick thought that he would push up that far. So Nick's making some really good pushes here. Forcing these guys back, but their mortars are now both that one, and they even stole my AT. So that really sucks. And I just have some combat engineers right here. These guys are really cheap. They're only 170. And here comes the T-34. I'm gonna be grabbing that any second now. And I just saw they're constructing Panzer. I get this thing on the side here, which lets me know, because I have the radio intercepts, lets me know they're not going to try to get some Panzers. I'm trying to lay down some mines right here. And they almost blew my mines there, so I had to fall back. And I see they have my AT now. So I brought my mortar up. Basically, I have my mortar and, you know, a ton of my troops right here. We're winning on the victory point scale right now, even though they have a really condensed force. Thank goodness Nick on ambulance. He's got to fall back with some of these units here. This guy's, you know, a trick also if you're going against an officer like that. Wow, that got wiped out. The trick is just shoot, aim, focus all on the officer, because that officer dies, they all retreat. We are getting our butt kicked right now. It is really not going too well. They've killed a lot of our guys. They killed my MG with rifle grenades. The only positive thing is my mortar has no kills. Just kidding. Well, I was going to have more than that. Okay. I do have a T-34 out, though. And they've got a lot of light vehicles right now. They do have an AT, so I got to be careful. And I know they have an AT. So I decided to put down a munitions cache. I guess mainly for the White Phosphorus. He's just saving up for easy A's, and he's going to pump those guys out as fast as he can, pretty much, when he can. You can see they're capturing the points here at the officer. You just got to focus fire on this. I mean, that's really all you need to do. Because he's just, like, you know, hanging up on the sandbags. I saw they had an awesome one. You can see they're using the Roman front, improvised Roman front again with the blood on top of their tanks here. You can see I have my T-34 here. Same thing. That's how we treat Romans. You know, we have guns. Anyway, they're doing another assault here. I'm trying to target their mortar, which I know is right here. And I know I've done this tactic myself. Just launch rifle grenades against these guys, and the mortars are coming down. And I'm like, I'm gonna lose another MG, aren't I? Thankfully, I'm able to withdraw. And he's coming forward, and he's a little cocky right now. My mortar's now Vet 1. This is a huge advantage for me being Vet 1. I now have the precision strike, which will basically let me level out these enemy mortars here. He's going to get that Panzer strike off, but he's going to lose his squad right there. Completely worth it. Now, I didn't charge forward. Nick is charging forward because they have a lot of AT. They have a lot of light armor on the field right here. Very surprised at that. They should have some kind of Panzer forward. So Nick's grand assault right here. Some grenades would be great. And he's going to fall back from the artillery that's coming down. And I'm like, please, repair faster, tank. I need to help Nick with the Oswin. You know, take out the Oswin there. And I'm shooting at this AT. I want to kind of distract it. I'm like, I got to move up. So I managed to hit that Oswin there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave my tank still here. I'm like, oh, got to move up again. I really need to get my engine fixed. I'm like a second away. They're backing up. I'm going to stop here and just like, okay, come on. Come on, engineers. We got to go. I can get another tank here, so I'm going to pop out. Okay. All repaired. Here I go. That tank, that Oswin is damaged. I'm just going to push in. Push past this AT. I thought I was going to push past that AT. Okay, now I'm going to push past that AT. Never mind, I'm not. I'm just going to sit here and take shots. Now, I don't think he realizes this is a tank, and that's a Puma. So I push that Puma back. I have to fall back again. I was trying to throw a Molotov onto those guys. So I'm repairing it. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm having a second T-34. I lost another squadron on the retreat. They do not have the correct armor force to counter us at this point. He's now trying to get a Stug, which is a very surprising choice now. Stugs are kind of good against infantry. They do not have a turret, so keep that in mind. They definitely cannot fight against Su-85s. You gotta be careful with Stugs, and T-34s eat Stugs for breakfast. Let's just be honest. Oh, and, not to mention, I can use the vehicle self-repair, so I'm doing that. I have plenty of munitions thanks to Nick's fuel cache right there. So I'm putting a maybe, his munitions cache, thanks to his munition cache. So you can see my mortar's gone 11 kills. I'm trying to wipe out these mortars who are reinforcing off this reinforcement bunker, or they're about to reinforce. But I've done some real damage and forced a lot of their mortars back at this point. So honestly, you're gonna mortar me, I'm gonna out-mortar you, especially with these precision strikes. I'm even gonna move a little bit to make sure that we don't have any issues. So Nick's gonna push out his infantry. I'm gonna do kind of a combined force. I'm gonna have the armor here in this assault because he doesn't have any easy 8s just yet. It's a risk when you wait for easy 8. Same thing like if you're waiting for a Tiger or something. And this flak is very far forward with no real support. I see that Austin move up and I'm like, let's go, let's go. You can see the T-34s coming over the horizon. We're gonna push on in single column formation. Is it like Aladdin on the side of this Oswin? So that Oswin falls back. I see this flak. I'm just going to keep on pushing. He's like trying to smoke me out here. That's not going to save him. That's not going to save him. Main gun destroyed. Okay, maybe it is. Overall, this was a good assault up till that point when I got Panzerschrecked. This Puma's going to push in. I'm gonna hit. See, I'm screening with my injured tank, with the tank that's at full health right here. And look, that Stug just got wiped out, so that Stug's gone. I'm gonna fall back. I heavily damaged these vehicles here. They're proven to be no match. So I'm gonna pull back my tanks, get them repaired, and send them right into combat again. You can see they've really tried pushing back against us. My mortar's now up to 14 kills. And that was some assault by me. I didn't actually manage to knock out any tanks, but the Stug got killed, and I managed to heavily damage a lot of these tanks. So actually, now I have a veteran C2 tank here, which is great. I'm gonna grab a third T34 possibly. These are just the 76 variants, obviously. We do have access to the 85 and the ISU-1, the IS-2, not the ISU-152. This is definitely the IS-2 Joseph Stalin tank. Okay, so he's forced to repair using this valuable repair station. And we've neutralized the center here, so my mortar's still raining down on these guys. It's great to have a mortar like this. Like, the Soviets have a big advantage in mortars over the Germans, and honestly, they started this mortar war here. For some reason, they haven't bothered to get like any kind of reinforcement bunker or something up here. They've got a medical bunker. So I'll push up with my MG right here to start taking shots into these guys, and I'm gonna use my precision to start firing right on these guys. I'm trying to take out this, I believe it's the AT right here. Or that mortar, that works too. Keep in mind, if the mortar goes down to one person, it will get wiped out. And I lost my machine gun crew, and I'm forced to fall back to my mortar. I'm going to try to flank around this way, and they saw me right here. They called my, they're reinforcing at that point. Anyway, I got some great hits on those infantry right there. I'm going to fall back here and try to lure them into my trap here. Mortars got back safely to base. I have troops still here, and I do have anti-tank, and I do have Molotovs. Now I'm thinking at this point, I better save it for T-34-85s or an IS-2 against this armor. They even have a Stug. Not Stug. They even have, well, they do have a Stug right here. They even have a Stuka-Sufus. So Nick's got his Easy 8 out, and he's going to grab another one, I'm sure, as soon as he can. here in a second once he gets this one to safety. But he gets that to safety to basically keep it alive, obviously. And I'm repairing my tanks right here. They're still mortaring me. These guys are... I'm killing most of the crew, but not all of them, which is pretty unfortunate. So we put the spotting scope instead of the machine gun on the Stu, so that makes it even less effective. So we're getting ready for an assault. Nick's really supplying the infantry, and I'm really supplying the armor. Now he's got his own armor, basically, and he's repairing his tank right here. You with the cruise veteran like this, you can even do repair critical, which I would suggest doing if you have the munitions for it. That way, if you see an enemy tank and you need to get the hell out of here, you'll have your thing basically immediately repaired for your engine. Because you can see on the back of this EZ8, it is smoking, which means this engine is obviously damaged. And he just brought a Stuke all the way up here, which is a little interesting. So I'm building sandbags so we're under mortar fire. My own mortar's back up here. They're trying to take over this capture point with Oss, Obersadan, not Oss Truppen or something. And these guys have no real... Well, these guys do have AT, but they don't have enough munitions for it. And at this point, Stugus goes off right on Nick's guys, so devastating. Actually, that missed a whole lot of his guys. So I have a machine gun here, kind of blocking up this area. The Stug is facing this way, unbelievable. Right as my guys go pushing in. And I'm sure these guys laid a mine somewhere, which they actually didn't. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Stug is dead. I'm gonna push up in, I'm gonna start to target these guys that are in negative cover in the middle of the road. If I get my, engine damage, not a big deal at this point. So I try to wipe out as many units as I can. I can get an IS-2. Nick is launching that in the White Phosphorus barrage. I'm pulling back. We have these guys. Actually, we have a lot of those guys. Nick is pushing in the middle at this point with the EZ8 also. All their anti-armor is focused on me down here. IS-2 can come out now. I think I'm actually going to save just a little bit more to get the T-34-85s. I don't use this very often, so I'm trying to get the video for you guys. And at this point, the EZ8's moving, the infantry's moving in. We are pushing these guys back. Vehicles are damaged at this point. My tanks are repairing here. Nick's EZ8 are destroying the Oswin pretty much. That's gone. Stugus is in danger of dying here. This guy's rear armor is exposed to him. He's going to take out that Puma. And that's going to decide to surrender. So we have the armor to basically take these guys down. I was about to get some heavy armor too. As well as this point, they surrendered this early. But good game to our opponents. You can see really once they're all focused on the center right here. Once we were able to kind of get the heavy armor, I had the T-34s. I was able to kind of flank this position from right here and over here. And our infantry was just they had cheap infantry basically. The Volksgrenadiers and the Panzer Fusiliers. These guys are cheap infantry. They did have the officer though. But they invested heavily on light armor, especially the OKW player. Look at him. He has 20 fuel. He can't even get a Panther at this point. He had not only a Puma, but he had a Stuka Sufus and a Flak Half-Track, so he had no armor. We had a lot of armor. And this guy invested early on. He doesn't have any armor whatsoever. He doesn't have a whole lot of fuel. He could probably get a Panzer 48. He invested early on in a Stug and an Ostwind, and that completely backfired on him. So really the heavy armor of the base, having actual armor on our side really helped us win this match. And even if these guys continued at this point, we would have gone a lot of, we would have had a lot more heavy armor. You saw that Nick can make another heavy armor right there. And let's look at the kills. There you go, right there. I was negative, obviously, so was Nick. But good game to our opponents. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave some comments down below, and let's get 50 likes on this video. And the next episode will come out shortly. Cod4Man221 signing off. Next episode should be out in the next couple days or so. See you then.